I believe McDonald for AMS TV. AMS, in its latest report on the U.S. captive industry, notes that the population of rated captives posted another solid year in 2017, once again outperforming its counterparts in the commercial casualty segment. With us to discuss the report is AMS Associate Directors Susan Molineux and Fred Eslami. Welcome both.
Thank you.
Fred, another year in which the rated portion of the captive industry did well compared to its counterparts. What's driving that?
Well, a lot of things, actually. Captives are excellent in their risk management and risk mitigation practices. They're intimately connected with their either members or the parent company within the ERM framework that they have. And that makes, risk and exposure and avoidance of any exposure and mitigation the key for them. That's why we see a 12, 13-point difference between the loss ratio on the captives versus the commercial casualty market. So that's one of the key elements that they're doing well.
Okay, and 2017 was a notable year for natural catastrophes. We saw a lot of insurance organizations post some changed results. How did it affect the captive sector?
The impact was a couple of points on the combined ratio. The hurricanes in Puerto Rico, Florida, Texas had some effect on them. But overall, the 5-year average is still beat the commercial casualty market. So that's one of the key areas that they are strong. In terms of loss and LAE expenses, they're typically lower than the casualty composite because they don't, for the most part, especially if you're a single parent captive, they don't use agencies. And for the RRG or the group captives, it's limited and it's a regular business expense that they have to tolerate.
Okay. And Susan, you and Fred will be part of the AMS team that will be at Vermont Captive Insurance Association conference in August up in Burlington there. Been a lot of activity in terms of captives, especially among domiciles. What are you seeing in terms of how the domiciles are playing out and Vermont's position among domiciles?
Well, we're very excited to be going up to Burlington. We represent AM Best annually at the Captive Conference, and I think there's about 1,000 people that'll be coming this year. And I think Vermont, year after year, solidifies its position as a leading captive domicile. There are a number of other domiciles out there, both in the U.S. and abroad, that companies can, when choosing a domicile, consider. But Vermont also has a focus on innovation. They have recently released some affiliated reinsurer legislation, so they continue to raise the bar and give some really good sessions and some information there, and again, put themselves out there as a very good domicile for companies to consider when selecting captive domicile.
Okay. Well, thank you, Susan and Fred. And the report we referenced is available right now at ams.com. For AMS TV, I'm Lee McDonald.